Shemai GTA fans, I got a Hakuchou drag on offer at just over $500,000 rather than $1 million, which is on offer until Thursday the 23rd. And I'm going to give you a bit of a review on this motorbike and is it worth it? And I'm going to show you some customization and then I'm going to race it and try and find a purpose for this drag motorbike. And so first let's go through customization, shall we? Well, here we are at Customisationville. Put a dual exhaust on it because you can't even see the exhaust. You want to see the exhaust, come on. Carbon, ideal. Liveries, there's some really good ones. I really like the flame liveries. But my favourite was the Nippon flag, so we're putting that on. Desperately trying to find a white colour here to go with it. Obviously white and red, and then we're going to put a bit of an accent colour going through it of the lime green. Nice. The wheels, yeah, we're going to put the wheels in a similar kind of colour perhaps, or maybe we'll offset it with a different colour altogether. Got a bit confused about which wheels to pick, and the tri-wheel in the end I went for on the back, and on the front I went for a solid wheel, but I got rid of that later on and changed it to a tri-wheel just like the back, just to make it consistent. I mean, why don't you have the same front wheels as back wheels in there? I don't get that. I quite like red, that's nice. Maybe green would suit it a bit better, but let's do blue. Let's go for something a bit weird. Don't forget to get the bulletproof tyres on this. Right, here we are. First drive of the Hakuchou drag. And this is based on a Hayabusa, I think, which was the fastest motorbike in the world. I don't even know if it is anymore. I've been keeping up to date on mopeds. But it certainly does drive like that kind of motorbike. Because the steering, it's got a really wide steering arc, so it does make it a bit tricky to weave in and out of traffic. It's not as nimble as other bikes, such as the Bati 801, which I'm going to compare it to in a minute, because we are coming up to the airport. Sorry for the darkness, every time it was night or raining, so I've tried to minimise the amount of darkness episodes through my clip, but there we go, that's what we have. You get what you get in GTA. Another annoying thing, notice the lights wink out? Every time you smash something, even a lightweight thing, it'll knock the front light out, which was quite annoying for these night drives where I'm trying to do a bit of illumination. First off, I'm going to do a drag race. So I've already talked about I mentioned the Bati 801. So we're going to race it against that in a basic drag race. Now, with the Hakuchou drag, if you can't really pull wheelies, you may have noticed me try to, but you have to lean forwards to get the maximum speed out of it. Whereas the Bati 801 on the right hand side, if you pop a wheelie, in the weird physics it makes it go a lot faster, and it's picking up to catching up with the Hakuchou drag there, but nevertheless the drag wins it with half a second, so not a sparkling win, but a win is a win. So that is pretty good, I suppose, but is it worth 589,000 compared to 15 grand on the Bati 801? Probably not, I would argue. So let's have a look at some other aspects of this moped, shall we? The drag does look like a hill climbing bike, so let's do some hill climbing with it, shall we? Pretty much vertical, and it does really well. It does need a run up for a vertical type of slope there, and it easily beats the Bati 801. So it's much better in the hills than the Bati 801 for sure there. It's found something that it is victorious at by quite a large margin against the Bati. So that is pretty good. It's pretty good in the hills as well, but probably not the best in the hills out of all the motorbikes. But it is a great looking bike, isn't it? But is it as good as a Shotero? That's the question. Is that worth it? Great looking bike, but let's do a proper race. So we're going to do a lap of LSIA against the Bati. 15 grand versus $1 million full price. Again, the Bati has to pull a wheelie to get the maximum speed. Notice how I'm veering to the left there. We're coming up to the first corner, it's pretty close, but with the Hakuchou drag in the lead. I found the Hakuchou drag a lot easier because you don't need to pop wheelies, you just put your head down and you just go straight in. But if it was a more nimble track, so with more corners, I'm not sure. I'm not sure really. The 801 might win. And we come up to the final bend, the Hakuchou drag's in the lead, and having no problems, victorious there by a second and a half. So a pretty good victory for the Hakuchou drag against a car which cost, sorry, a bike which cost a fraction of the amount. So as you would want with those kind of numbers, eh? So is it worth it? Well, if your main concern is money, then it isn't, because it only offers a slight improvement in performance over the Batty 801, which is always the best bike to go for, isn't it? 15 grand. It offers so much performance for the money. However, it does offer an edge in performance, so if that extra bit of performance is valuable to you, then it might just be worth it. Also, you don't need to pull a wheelie in order to go fast, so for that reason it might well be worth it. But there is another bike as well. The other reason why it might be worth it is because of the look of it. So the liveries and the fact it's not futuristic looking but also has great performance, so that might be another reason why you want to buy it. However, for my money, I would be buying the Shotero, which is the Tron bike. It's oh, for Christ's sake. Learn how to drive. What is wrong with me? Oh, when it rains, it pours. So anyway, where was I? The Shotero. That is the bike to go for if you want to spend a wad of cash on a bike for performance. Because it's more nimble in traffic, a lot more forgiving on the jumps, for example. I think it's a better stunt bike, for sure. And but it does cost 2.2 million, so it does cost a significant portion more than this bike, which is currently on discount until the 23rd. So it's all up to you, but for me, I already have the Shotero, so there's no reason for me to have bought this bike, and I doubt I'll be driving it too much in the future. I'll still get it out, I'm sure, but it won't be my go-to bike when I want to ride a nice motorbike and enjoy myself in the game. Yes, it's going to be the Shotero that I will be going to. So for that reason, it's probably a no from me on would I buy this again. So I hope that's helped. Do drop a like if it's been useful and give me your comments on what you think of this bike. But thank you very much for watching.